Culture is that what shapes us. It shapes our identity and influences our behavior. Culture is our way of being. More specifically, it refers to the shared languages, beliefs, values, norms, behaviors, and material objects that are passed on from one generation to the next. The term culturally diverse is often used interchangeably with the concept of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is defined as a system of beliefs and behaviors that recognizes and respects the presence of all diverse groups in an organization or society, acknowledges and values their socio-cultural differences, and encourages and enables their continued contribution with an inclusive culture context which empowers all within the organization or society. According to sociologist Dr. Calabro, who specializes in diversity and multiculturalism, describes 7 important actions involved in the definition of multiculturalism: recognition of the abundant diversity of cultures, respect for the differences, acknowledging the validity of different cultural expressions and contribution, valuing what other cultures offer, encouraging the contribution of diverse groups, empowering people to strengthen themselves and others to achieve their maximum potential by being critical of their own biases. And last one, celebrating, rather than just tolerating the difference in order to bring about unity through diversity.
So La Trobe, I think, has a lot of cultural diversity, which they show in a couple of weeks ago. They had Chinese New Year, where Chinese could celebrate, but also anyone else from the university could learn more about the culture and could kind of join in and celebrate as well.
Yeah. What about the Paint Festival? They had recently the Paint Festival that they show. I can't remember what's it called.
I'm not too sure what it was
It
called.
was really fun though, and they were really trying to bring the Indian culture inside, and they're trying to make everyone into more communicative.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the togetherness that we share. And the university is so great. They have different people, different cultures, and different country people then who come and learn, and they try to make it more diversified. And they try to give us interpreters and teach us how to learn our languages and how to speak English or how to speak the home language. It was really grand. How about the religion culture?
I think La Trobe is actually quite good that it gives people spaces to have different religions and it makes it an accepted thing. Like there's a lot of prayer rooms around.
Isn't there a mosque nearby?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And even some of the groups, like there's a Christian group.
Christian Catholic Church. It was here on Friday. That's fantastic. I think that La Trobe is really outstanding when it comes to cultural diversity, and they try to make us feel welcome with free speeches, and just welcome to be accepted here.
So, how diversity enhances learning experiences is actually quite a large bridge to sort of jump over in a sense, only because the fact is when it comes into a classroom space, we have such a wide variety of people from different types of countries. And for La Trobe itself, and being culture, being the types of values, attitudes that we craft ourselves around, diversity at La Trobe is something that we really find is important. Mainly because we try to incorporate a university type of culture where it's safe, it's something that any person from any country can come here and learn. And essentially, this learning experience that we actually have here is really opening up the boundaries from other countries, students from different countries coming down here to learn and expand horizons. So then when it comes down to them actually going into their new career, whether that be back home or within Australia, that they're actually open to the sense that they've been flexible to new culture. They're realistically, they've been geocentric, meaning that essentially they're flexible, open-minded to that diversity that does exist. Now within La Trobe, we actually open those boundaries for students, and we want students to really explore, regardless of language gaps or communication or different types of values that might see things from a different perspective. We want that open for students. Because by doing so, when you go into that actual industry, that working environment, you can really open those horizons and understand how people actually value things in different ways, how people can interact differently from one another. And put it this way, when it comes down to business, you'll be jumping around from job to job, industry to industry, even potentially from country to country. And having that actual diversity learning experience underneath your belt will give you great opportunity and better understanding of the people that you actually interact with.
Diversity intensifies self-awareness.
Diversity contributes to expanding the knowledge base and promotes creative thinking.
Collaboration in diverse settings produces better results. The real world is diverse, and a diverse college experience encourages students to think of their careers based on a global scale.
Diversity is a win-win situation when it comes to social development.
Culture is the lens with which we evaluate everything around us. We evaluate what is proper or improper, normal or abnormal, through our culture.
If we're immersed in a culture that is unlike our own, we may experience culture shock and become disorientated when we come into contact with an environment that is fundamentally different.
Faculty of color experience isolation, exclusion, alienation, and racism. People usually use their own culture as a standard to judge other cultures.
A passing judgment could reach a level where people begin to discriminate against others whose way of being are different to theirs or their own. Essentially, we tend to fear what we do not understand.
Increase our level of understanding about other cultures by interacting with people outside of your own culture. Meaningful relationships may never develop simply due to the lack of understanding. Avoid imposing values on others that may conflict or be inconsistent with cultures other than your own. When interacting with others who may not be proficient in English, recognizes that their limitations in English proficiency in no way reflects their levels of intellectual functioning. Be productive in your listening, accepting, and welcoming people and ideas that are different from your own. Have seminars and celebrations to foster diversity around campus. Have a balance of cultures in class groups to force communication.
Diversity is not an end in itself. Diversity is a means of achieving our educational and institutional goals. As such, merely adding diverse people to a homogeneous environment does not automatically create a more welcoming and intellectually stimulating campus. Long-term efforts, engagement, and substantial attention are essential for realizing the benefits that diversity has to offer, and for ensuring that all members of the academic community are respected, listened to, and valued. Understanding culture diversity brought together a melting pot of different races, cultures, orientations, etc., and has made us into somewhat of quaint little mixed family. We've shared and presented personal experiences, we've learned life lessons and the values of being different. During our time in class, I've had the opportunity to ask my fellow classmates some burning questions that were on my mind, but haven't been answered because of the lack of opportunity. So our course provided me with the platform to conduct my own personal research on cultures other than my own. I'm glad to know that there are people out there who are just like me, although we don't look all the same. Thanks for letting me work on this project, Mr. Crosby.